Alright, so in this video, I will answer one of the most common questions I get. Namely, should you track calories and macronutrients to get lean and lose weight? Well, to answer that question, I would like to use my famous Google Maps analogy. So imagine whenever you travel to a new city and you want to find the quickest way of getting from A to B. You would probably look at Google Maps to find the fastest way based on where you stand today. And very few people would rather say, let's skip using Google Maps to save some time and rather just try to guess my way walking blindly through the city for hours or days, hoping that someday I will get there. However, that is the most common approach when trying to lose weight and get lean. People will spend months trying to lose weight or build muscle without first spending a few minutes up front actually figuring out if their diet is going to predictably help them reach their goal. And the argument many people use to explain why you should not track your calories is because you're not going to track your calories for the rest of your life. And I totally get the rationale, because tracking every single calorie I eat for the rest of my life would be totally unsustainable and miserable. After all, my best streak was like 3 weeks and I was fairly dedicated. But that's like saying you should never use Google Maps to find your way in a new city, because you're not going to use Google Maps for every single step you take for the rest of your life. So obviously, there is a silver lining here. We occasionally use tracking apps like MyFitnessPal to estimate how many calories we typically eat on a daily basis compared to how many calories we use. We use it to better understand how much protein we eat per day and what foods that secretly bump up your sugar intake, and generally just educate ourselves on our daily eating habits. Just like we use Google Maps to better orient ourselves when we have no clue of where we stand today. And a lot of people ask, can't you just eat intuitively without tracking calories and still lose weight? Well, yes, but intuition comes from experience. Initially, you will lack the experience to intuitively eat in a 20% calorie deficit while still getting 1.5 grams of protein per kilo body weight, which for most people would be the fastest, most sustainable, and most predictable way to get lean, strong, and energized. Therefore, you should consider to train your intuition by doing the following experiment for 3 days. You track what you eat. Not for the rest of your life, but for the next 3 days. You see, to start eating healthy, you first need to develop an awareness of what you eat today and what small improvements you could take on a daily basis to reach your goal. And by writing out your meals for the day, you automatically start making better choices. Because as the famous saying goes, what gets measured gets managed. You see, the mere act of tracking a behavior can spark the urge to change it. So when first planning out your new healthy eating habits, calorie and macronutrient counting for at least 3 days is well worth the hassle. You can regard it as a 3-day experiment to, number 1, understand what you actually put in your body, and number 2, build an intuition of how much calories and macronutrients each food contain. So use the free app MyFitnessPal to scan different barcodes and summarize your daily food intake. And trust me when I say that is probably the best 3-day nutrition education you could take. Since calorie tracking is a bit more advanced, it's covered in greater detail in another video, links below. And in the next video, I will cover the most sustainable tracking habit for building new eating habits that you can do after your 3-day tracking experiment that does not contain tracking calories daily. And if you like this video, you can give it a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel for more good tips on training, nutrition, and motivation, if that's what you're into. Good luck, Torps.